The first bike was 76 Webco, coaster brakes, steel wheels, fat spokes, all Ashtabula parts. Probably weighed 45 pounds. And I'm, 10-year-old kid, 11-year-old kid. So that bike was hard to throw around, but it was made for BMX. And it took a while to get that because just prior to finding BMX, being 9 or 10, I wanted a big kid's bike. All the kids in my neighborhood, were older than me. I was the youngest guy, so I wanted a bike like theirs, which was a 10 speed. That's what they had, and I just got a 10 speed, and now I found BMX, and I had to convince them, oh, I want this other bike now. So I think I had to wait till a year for the next Christmas, and then I got that Webco.
Well, so you never had the luxury of running Moto Mags then?
No, because I had the steel wheel, regular
Yeah,
wheels, and God, being only 10, those things are bulletproof. I probably only weighed less than 100 pounds. So for
yeah,
years, they were fine until I started like racing. And then it was like, oh, you need lighter wheels and you need
right.
this and that. Of course, I upgraded. But prior to that, that Webco was bulletproof.
The dude, when in like in my situation where I was riding a BMX bike my all my pretty much my whole life, and before I even started racing, I was already pretty damn proficient on a BMX bike. For in regards to jumping and bike handling, that type of thing.
Uh-huh.
When you came out of the box, did you street ride for quite a while before you started racing, or did you start racing pretty much off the bat?
No, I probably was riding backlot, jumps and stuff for a good 3 years before I actually raced, and always wanted to race. And I had no idea how I would do, and wasn't until I was 12, because I was probably discovering BMX around 9 or 10, and then at 12 I actually jumped in and started to race, and did horrible. Like things did not click at all right away for me, anyways. So I was a slow learner.
So, what were some of the jumps that you were doing? Were you doing anything sketchy before you started racing? Were you jumping picnic tables, cars, trash cans, or were you kind of tame at that point?
I was still pretty tame. I was still learning to even ride well at that point. I mean, from 12 to 15 was a huge learning time, and it was probably after 15 that things started to click a little bit. Like I could bunny hop a curve and I could hit a jump, but I never quite figured out how to pull up off the jump right. And the whole time, of course, right, you're always just trying to jump higher and farther and higher.
Sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It didn't probably click for me till like 15ish.
Okay, so how old were you when you actually got on the track and started dicing it with people? You were 13, 14, something like that?
12. I was 12 when
12.
I
Okay.
started. Yeah.
So you're man, I wish I started when I was 12, dude. I could have been a pro, man. Man.
Oh, it helps to start young for sure.
Oh, dude, man. I would because I was telling who was I telling? Telling Kevin Dunsmore where the first time I saw a real BMX track, I mean, we had built, jumps and, or, all over the city and stuff, but the first time I saw a real BMX track with the
Mhm.
berms and the starting hill, I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh my god, this is nirvana, dude. Look at this." And it was
Yeah.
it's a totally different animal, bro. You think that you could be the star in your neighborhood and you hit that track and you're like, "Dude, I'm nothing, man. I'm slow." And so I just wish I started earlier like you. So when you started, you were on your Webco then.
No, I got a new bike just prior to racing, or right after starting racing. Like they figured out really quick. But my first race was on the first generation Patterson, and that only
Everybody
lasted
loves a Patterson, man.
a month or two because my dad was really good friends with the bike shop owner. And right after we bought that bike, that was like the new hot bike because the Pattersons had just been there for a national, and they did a big, publicity blitz of all our bike shops. And anyway, they sold a ton of them, but that first one broke a lot. And my dad, being friends with the bike shop owner, he told us, he said, you know what, bring it back before it breaks, and let's do a trade in and do something else. And then I hopped on a Cook Brothers, and then I probably raced that for the first 2 or 3 years, and that bike was fine. I never broke the Patterson, but I was a young small kid, so I was probably
Yeah.
okay. Hawaii had some insane jumpers that I don't know about other places, but we seem to break a lot of stuff all the
It's
time.
it's all the salt in the air, bro.
Our bike shop was filled with just like broken frames, broken cranks, broken bars in the back room. And the funny thing was thrusters became the it bike in Hawaii because they had 100% lifetime warranty.
Uh-huh.
And I had a ton of buddies who went through 3 or 4 thrusters after just buying one because they break it, get a new one, break it, get a new. But it was free, right? You just, hey, I
All right.
broke it, send me another one.
So this was still racing NBA or ABA come around by then.
Yeah, under the NBA, pretty much same rules, same guidelines, but local people running everything and doing, keeping their own points, keeping their own thing separate. And then we didn't probably turn ABA until 81, 82, somewhere
Okay.
around there. So we
So
were
I know the NBA had a little different rules for turning expert or the classes. What was the class